Hello everyone. We have completed the theory of retarding plates, both quarter wave plate and half wave plate. Today I will be considering the when two plane polarized light having perpendicular vibration, when they superpose, what happens. See, just imagine two plane polarized light. See, if you consider perpendicular to this sheet of paper, if you consider this as the direction of the light, then the electric vibrations of light can vibrate in any possible direction. So in all these direction it is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Now if I consider only this one, then what happens? This is vibrating perpendicular to the direction of vibration, and this is only plane polarized light. Similarly, if I consider this is also restricted to one single direction, so that can be considered also as plane polarized light. Okay, now any plane polarized light will be consisting of two resolutions. One is along y-axis and another one is along x-axis. So this is known as perpendicular vibrations. I can consider like this, and they can be considered as they will be resolved into two components. One is along x-axis and another one is y-axis. Now I can think these as the two perpendicular vibrations. Okay, if these two perpendicular vibrations are travel through wave plate, okay, particularly the retarding plate or quarter wave plate or any plate, okay, anyway it is a quarter retarding plate. Whether it is quarter or half wave plate, let me think on later. Okay, since it is a retarding plate, I have to consider the optic axis should be parallel to the upper surface like this, correct? Now I am passing a plane polarized light, then it gives out both the vibrations. One is perpendicular to the plane of paper and another one is along the plane of the paper. Usually along the plane of the paper is extraordinary ray, and this one is the ray which contain the perpendicular vibrations is considered as ordinary ray, correct? So if you consider this is be like this, see what happens. See, this is direction, but the vibration direction will be, one is along the optic axis and another one is along this direction, or in other words it is having this type of vibration. See, these two are perpendicular to each other. Now I can consider these two as the perpendicular vibrations. Are you getting my point? Please go through the video once again. If I pass the plane polarized light, plane polarized contains two perpendicular vibrations. One is along the optic axis and another one is perpendicular to the optic axis. Okay, since it is a retarding plate, both will travel along the same direction but with the different speed. Since it is having the different speed, it has the phase difference, that I know, correct? Now if A be the, I am writing all these details here up to this, so you can pass and you can copy this. If A be the amplitude of the vibration, then the component A cos theta is parallel to the optic axis, form extraordinary waves, and the component A sin theta perpendicular to the optic axis forms the ordinary wave. Okay, so when these two waves emerges out of the crystal, there is a phase difference of phi, okay, which depends on the value of the thickness of the plate. This you already know. What is that phase difference? Phi is, this is already proved, 2 pi by lambda into mu naught minus mu e by d, where mu naught is the refractive index of ordinary ray and mu e is the refractive index of extraordinary ray. So wave equation for extraordinary ray will be, how can I write in the form of waves? X is equal to a cos theta into sine of omega t plus pi. So usually we will write a sine omega t, correct? So A is the amplitude, but here amplitude value is a cos theta. That's why I have written a cos theta into sine of omega t plus pi, where phi is the phase difference. Similarly, for odd O ray, I can write y is equal to a sin theta into sine of omega t. So if I call a cos theta as small a and a sin theta as small b, then it will be come back to your ordinary general equation, that is y is equal to b sin omega t, x is equal to a sin omega t plus pi. That means these two waves has the phase difference of phi. Okay, now from equation 3 I can write x by a is equal to sin of omega t plus pi. This is in the form of sin of a plus b. Sin of a plus b can be written as sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Next, what I will do, cos omega t can be written as root of 1 minus sin square omega t into sin phi, and all the other thing as it is. Now from equation 4 I will substitute sin omega t. What is your sin omega t? That is y by b. If I substitute y by b into cos pi, and here root of 1 minus sin square omega t is there, therefore y by b whole square, that is y square by b square into sin phi. Okay, then what I will do, I will take y by b term to this side, this y by b. So what I will get, x by a minus y by b cos pi is equal to root of 1 minus y square by b square into sin phi. I will square on both sides so that root will cancel out. Then I will get x by a minus y by b cos pi whole square minus this root and square cancels, 1 minus y square by b square into sin square phi. So if I simplify this by using the formula a minus b whole square, then I will get this form. This is multiplying this term inside, so then I will get this. Okay, then what I will do, I will take this to this side, this term to this side. Then what happens in these two terms, y square by b square is common. If I do that, then I will get cos square phi plus sin square phi, and this is as it is, and this I will retain here only. Okay, now what happens, I will get the final form, x square by a square plus y square by b square minus 2x by a into y by b into cos phi is equal to sin square phi. So this is actually a general equation of the ellipse. Okay, general form of the ellipse. Now I will be consider the cases. Okay, and its value depends on the phi values. So for different phi values, what will be the particular case or particular form of the emergent ray that I am doing here. See what happens, I will consider the case 1 when phi equals 0. So this is your general form. When I substitute phi as 0, then what happens, cos 0 is 1, therefore I will write this, and this is sin 0 is 0, therefore I can write this. So then what happens, this is in the form of a square plus b square minus 2ab, so I can write this in the form of a minus b whole square. Since if I take square root on both sides, then I can write x by a minus y by b is equal to 0. Y by b is equal to x by a, or y is equal to b by a of x. That means which is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c I can write c, because c is 0 here. Okay, that means it is a form of the straight line. So what it shows, it is in the form of a straight line with the slope BA. That means the emergent light is also linearly polarized with the same direction of vibration as the incident light. That means if you send the incident light like this, then the emergent light is also in this form I will get. Okay, now if I consider case 2, that is when phi is equal to pi. So you know that phi is equal to pi happens in the case of half wave plate. That means this case is also considered as half wave plate case. Okay, in this case what happens, as usual this is the general form. Since phi is equal to pi, I can write like this. Again sin phi is 0, and this is cos pi is minus 1, so this is minus of minus, you will get plus. So again this is in the form of a square plus b square plus 2ab, so I can write a plus b whole square. Taking square root, I will get this. So I will get x by a is equal to minus y by b, or y is equal to minus b by a of x. That means which is in the form of same straight line but with the negative slope. Negative slope means you should get the line like this. So if the incident light ray is like this, then you will get the emergent ray like this. That means this is also linearly polarized but with the negative slope. Okay, now I am doing with the case 3, that is when phi is equal to pi by 2. You know that phi is equal to pi by 2 is the case of quarter wave plate. Again general equation. Okay, so then I will get x square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. So you know that this is the equation of the symmetrical ellipse. See, this is also equation of ellipse, but it's a general form. That means here A and B will not coincide exactly at the center, something will come here. But here what happens, the minor axis and major axis will coincide in such a way that to form the symmetrical ellipse. So for that thing, the equation will be like this. Okay, now thus the emergent ray is elliptically polarized. So that means if the incident light ray is like this, the emergent will be elliptically polarized. So what do you mean by elliptically polarized? What is its pictorial representation? You will come to know that later. Just imagine incident light ray is plane polarized, but here you will get emergent light ray as plane elliptically polarized. So if I equate A is equal to B, then what happens? Then you will get x square plus y square by same equation. If I equate A equals B, then I will get x square plus y square is equal to A square. That means this represents the equation of a circle with A as the radius of the circle. So in that case, I will get, if this is the incident ray, then I will get the circularly polarized light. Okay. Note, if A is equal to B means I am taking the A means A cos theta, B means A sin theta. You have go back to your derivation, go there, and there we have substituted A cos theta as A and B sin theta as B. Therefore A get cancelled, and when cos theta will be equal to sin theta when theta is equal to 45 degree. So imagine if theta is equal to 45 degree and phi is equal to pi by 2, then you will get the circularly polarized light. No restriction on theta, but only when phi is equal to pi by 2, then I will get the elliptically polarized light. Okay. That is any other except 45 degree, and again phi is equal to pi by 2, then you will get the elliptically polarized light. That means quarter wave plate will be sufficient enough to produce both circularly polarized light and elliptically polarized light. That is why I am writing quarter wave plate produces both elliptically and circularly polarized light. So you will get this pictorial idea. For that I am sending one video, you will get that later. Now what are the definitions of this? What is meant by plane polarized light? See, if the electric vector of the light vibrates in same direction at all the times, then it will be considered as plane polarized light. What do you mean by circularly polarized light? If the electric vector of light rotates with constant amplitude, so the tip of the vector traces a circle, then it will be circularly polarized light. What do you mean by elliptically polarized light? If the electric vector of light rotates whose magnitude and orientation vary, so the tip of the vector traces an ellipse, then it will be elliptically polarized light. See what happens. See, if this is a electric vector direction, it always vibrate in this direction only. Then what you will get, even after passing through the retarding plate also, it starts again rotating in the same direction. Such a light is known as plane polarized light. See what happens while vibrating. If it rotates with equal amplitude, then what happens, it will give out a circularly polarized light. So while vibrating, if it rotates with maximum amplitude and here minimum, then what happens, you will get the elliptically polarized light. So you will get one more video. By that you will get the very clear pictorial idea about what do you mean by plane polarized light, elliptical polarized light and circularly polarized light. So according to your syllabus, I have to concentrate on the production and detection. So how can I produce the plane polarized light? As usual, take one unpolarized light, pass through any polaroid or Nicol prism. So what is the speciality of the Nicol prism means? See, in the Nicol prism, it is also one of the double refracting surface. So here also two types of wave will produce it. One is extraordinary ray and another one is ordinary ray, but the ordinary ray exactly passes perpendicular to the extraordinary ray. So extraordinary ray will go like this and the ordinary ray exactly perpendicular to this, it will go like this. So if this is the incident ray, I will get this as the extraordinary ray. So I can get this extraordinary ray as polarized light. So this is the work of the Nicol prism. So if I pass the ordinary ray, then I will get a extraordinary plane polarized light. I can simply call that as plane polarized light. Okay, so here actually you are getting another plane polarized light whose vibrations are perpendicular to the direction of, or perpendicular to the plane of the paper, but I am not showing here. I am showing only the extraordinary ray, that is, which is also plane polarized and whose vibrations are along the plane of the paper. So very easy. If in this way I can produce the plane polarized light from the unpolarized light. You can also use any Polaroid. You already know what you mean by Polaroids, correct? Now how to produce the circularly polarized light? You already know. Now only you come to know that when the plane polarized light passes through the quarter wave plate, putting a condition theta is equal to 45 degree, then you will get the circularly polarized light, correct? Therefore what happened, firstly I have to plane polarize the ordinary ray by using the as usual Nicol prism. I will plane polarize it, and then I will pass through this quarter wave plate by putting the condition theta is equal to 45 degree. How to maintain theta as 45 degree? See, it is the angle between the optic axis and the direction of vibration. So for example, if you consider, if I passing this type of vibration, now the optic axis always parallel to the upper surface. Now this angle is considered as theta. Okay, if I am sending this type of vibration, okay, this angle is considered as theta. Okay, so theta is always the angle between the direction of vibration and the optic axis. So if you put that condition theta as 45 degree, then I will get the circularly polarized light. Okay, now how to produce the elliptically polarized light? As usual in the earlier case, firstly get the plane polarized light, pass through the quarter wave plate, putting a condition theta should not be equal to 0 degree, but also it should not be equal to 45 degree. You already know reason, and it should not be also equal to 0 degree and 90 degree. Why, you think on this? Okay, if you don't get the reason, I will explain. Okay, you have to get me back whether you are getting why theta should not be equal to 0 degree or 90 degree. Okay, anyway, plane polarized light when passes through quarter wave plate, by putting the condition theta not equal to 45 degree, I will get the elliptically polarized light. This you already know. I am representing this with a diagram. Unpolarized light, Nicol prism, I will get the plane polarized light after passing through quarter wave plate by putting the condition theta not equal to 45 degree, then I will get the elliptically polarized light. So this is how the production of plane polarized light, circularly polarized light and elliptically polarized light. And earlier we have find the definition. So I will send one video. If you see that, you will get a clear 3D picture about what is plane polarized, circularly polarized and elliptically polarized. Okay, next, detection. This is their production and detection. So if you are given with some polarized light, how to detect whether it is plane polarized or circularly polarized or elliptically polarized? So for that, what happens? If you are given with plane polarized light, I will make them to pass through the Nicol prism, and I will start rotating the Nicol prism. You already know this idea. So when I start rotating, now I am using the Nicol prism not as a polarizer, I am using this as a analyzer now. So I am writing Nicol prism analyzer. So when I start rotating, when the optic axis exactly matches with the direction of vibration, then you will get the more intensity. For any other angle, what happens, intensity goes on decreases, and particularly at theta is equal to 90 degree, you can remember Malus law, correct? In Malus law, what it says? I emergent is equal to I naught into cos square theta, something like you will get, where I naught is the intensity of the incident light and theta is the angle between the optic axis or the polarizing axis and the direction of vibration. So for any other angle, you will get theta cos value reduces, but for cos 90 value, this value becomes 0. That means emergent becomes 0. So at one particular case it becomes 0. So totally around 360 degrees. If this is the plane polarized light, I am using a optic axis like this. So when it is 90 degree, then what happens? I will get the minimum 0. Again, while rotating, intensity goes on increases. In this position, you will get the maximum intensity. Then while rotating, again here intensity decreases to 0, and again in this position I will get the maximum intensity. So think on clock rotating like this. So when the clock needles of the clock rotate like this, so here what happens? Intensity is maximum, intensity goes on decreases. Here in this position intensity becomes 0, and then what happens? Again becomes maximum, and then again becomes 0, and then again becomes maximum. That means how can I find? Intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum. That means completely shade, you will get completely shadow, and then again intensity lighted portion goes on increases to the maximum. So this is how I can find the plane polarized light. Similarly, how to find the circularly polarized light? So if someone say this is circularly polarized light or check, then what happens? Pass this circularly polarized through the Nicol prism. Again with the same idea, start rotating. Since in the circularly polarized light, the amplitude value is same in all direction, that means intensity value is same in all direction, there will be no change in intensity takes place. So I can say, but this the same result I can obtain even for the unpolarized light also. So now how can I confirm whether our light is circularly polarized light or unpolarized light? To confirm that, I have to go through the second step here. What is the second step? So pass your circularly polarized light through quarter wave plate, then it converts into plane polarized light. See, light always retraces its path. So when I pass a plane polarized light through the quarter wave plate, then it converts into circularly polarized light. Similarly, when I pass a circularly polarized light through the quarter wave plate, then I will get a plane polarized light. Okay. Now what happens if I check this by rotating the Nicol prism? As usual, I will get the intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum. This confirms that ours is a circularly polarized light. So if it is not a circularly polarized light, if it is an unpolarized light, after passing through the quarter wave plate also, the light is again unpolarized light only. Now if I use the Nicol prism as an analyzer, then what happens? After rotating, again there is no change in intensity. So in the confirmation step, again if there is no change in intensity, then it confirms that is an unpolarized light. So in the confirmation step, if the intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum, then it shows that this is an circularly polarized light. This is how I can detect the circularly polarized light. Similarly, how to detect the elliptically polarized light? As usual, pass your elliptically polarized through the Nicol prism, start rotating. Now the intensity varies from maximum to non-zero minimum, because here A is there, here A is there, here B is there. So B is reduced position, but it will not give zero intensity. So what happens in an ellipse? Correct. So what happens? So the intensity varies from maximum to non-zero minimum, but this will not confirm whether it is elliptically polarized or not, because the same result I can obtain for the partially polarized light. So how to confirm? Second step for the confirmation. So pass your elliptically polarized light through quarter wave plate. Again I will get the plane polarized light. Then use your Nicol prism as an analyzer. Then what happens? You will get your intensity varying from maximum to 0 minimum. So this confirms the given light is an elliptically polarized light. Okay. So if it is a partially polarized light, then after passing through the quarter wave plate also, again it will be partially polarized light. Now if I rotate the Nicol prism as an analyzer, then what happens? Again the intensity varies from maximum to non-zero minimum. Then what happens? In the confirmation step, again same result is obtained, that is maximum to non-zero minimum. Then it shows that this is a partially polarized. But in the confirmation step, if the intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum, then it shows that this is an elliptically polarized light. So this is how I can detect whether it is plane polarized, elliptically polarized, or circularly polarized. So this is one flow chart is there. This clearly gives out how to find out the plane polarized, circularly polarized, and elliptically polarized light. First, pass the given incident light through the Nicol prism. If your intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum, then this confirms that whether this is a plane polarized light. So, if your intensity varies from maximum to non-zero minimum, then you have a confusion whether it is elliptically polarized or partially polarized. Now, through this elliptically partially polarized and partially polarized, fix the quarter wave plate and Nicol prism. Now again start rotating the Nicol prism. Then what happens? If the again intensity varies from maximum to non-zero minimum, then it confirms that the given light is a partially polarized light. If the intensity varies from maximum to 0 minimum, then it confirms that given light is a elliptically polarized light. Now, if you pass the incident light and Nicol prism is rotating, no variation in light, then there are two results, whether it may be circularly or unpolarized light. Again use the setup of quarter wave plate and Nicol prism. So now start rotating the Nicol prism. Again, if there is no variation in intensity, then it confirms that again it is a unpolarized light. If there is a variation in intensity from maximum to 0, then it confirms that the given light is a circularly polarized light. So this is the flow chart, and this clearly explained how to find the circularly, elliptically and plane polarized light. So if any doubts, please ask me through the WhatsApp. No doubt, then please thumbs up. Thank you. I will continue in the next class. Sorry, I am unwell, so I am not able to upload the videos very fast. So please cooperate with me. Okay. Thank you.